Hi, everybody. Welcome to the On Fire Show with your host, Daryl McKell Brooks. I am here on a special show today. I have with me Mr. Greg Quinlan. He's coming on. He is from the Center for the Garden State Families, and he's here with us, a special guest to discuss the LGBT community and the bill that our famous governor Phil Murphy has signed, and that all students in the school system in our New Jersey school system will have to take this course. And here we go. You are Mr. Greg Quinlan, Center for Garden State Families in New Jersey. He's coming on. This is the On Fire Show. It's going to be a hot topic today.
All right. How you doing, sir?
All right. And so when I had found the information, I found out about the bill, read the paper, and I was like, oh wow, how could this happen? LGBT is now a course that every student in New Jersey in the public school system has to take. And you were experiencing a lot of things that was happening in the politics, especially about the LGBT and the progressive left and what they're trying to do to our school system. And I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. This is Mr. Greg Quinlan, the Center for Garden State Families in New Jersey. And first of all, tell us about yourself and your organization.
Well, I'm a minister. I'm a retired nurse, and I've been a lobbyist for a very long time. Now I'm 60 years old. A lot of things have been a long time now. We're a Christian family advocacy group. We're not ashamed of being a Christian family advocacy group. That means that we still say that marriage is between one man and one woman, that family consists of a mother, father, and their offspring, and the extended family that goes with that. Having said that, we do believe that we were founded as a Christian nation. Our laws, our Constitution is a Christian document. It's actually a reformist Christian document. I'm not a reformist, but that's what it is. So, and my story personally is that for more than a decade of my life, I lived as an open and out homosexual activist. I was with the Human Rights Campaign Fund, as it was called then. I have since left that lifestyle. That was back in 1992. I've been the president of PFOX, Parents and Friends of Ex-Gays and Gays. Lobbied for marriage, worked very hard in 2004 when 11 states voted to make marriage one man, one woman in their state constitutions, only to have that undone by the United States Supreme Court in a decision that was completely unconstitutional and outside their purview. But they did it anyway. So that was in 2015, June of 2015 when they did that. So this year, this legislative cycle, the New Jersey legislature has been promoting and pushing a bill that requires boards of education to include instruction and adopt instructional materials that accurately portray political, economic, and social contributions of persons with disabilities and lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. The bill was A 1335 in the Assembly, and the bill in the Senate is the one that passed, is S 1569. The usual culprits, Loretta Weinberg, Teresa Ruiz, Reed Gusiora, Tim Eustace, the two openly homosexual members of the legislature that have now since left. Reed Gusiora, I believe, is now the mayor of Trenton. Yes. So at least he's not doing damage in the legislature, although he's been pretty bad. Balinary Huddle, Mila J.C., Joanne Downey, Pamela Lampett, no surprise there. She's chair of the Education Committee that heard it. And Carol Murphy, Nancy Pinkin, Reynolds Jackson, and McKnight. But what was unfortunate, there were a couple of Republicans that actually helped, although they did wind up not voting for it on the floor. They did help push it out of committee.
Yeah, Reynolds Jackson, I know her very well. She's a former city councilman, East Ward city council, actually did nothing in the East Ward, and she became a state assembly, so she support this, and we're going to definitely talk about what she hasn't done and what she has really done in the state assembly and now the state senate, and it's critical.
Yes.
that people know about this bill, and parents who send their kids to high school, junior high school, elementary. Now tell us how this got started. What happened during the hearings? Because you told me a few stories. You told me some stories about what happened in the hearing. So,
well,
who's the one or two or group behind this, and what happened at the hearings?
Well, that would be Garden State Equality, which is the LGBT, the homosexual advocacy group here in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful, very well funded. What people don't understand is that the organization is actually a political action committee. That's how it's registered. Therefore, a lot of what you see happening in New Jersey is because they line the parkets of the legislators who actually do this. So pretty bad stuff, pretty bad stuff. So they went through a bunch of bills beforehand. The room was about half full with gay activists and the usual lobbies for education in general. But they began testimony and they talked about it. And then what appeared to be a young girl came and sat down. You know, you're sitting, if you see the committee, you know, you're sitting there waiting to testify on a bill, which I signed in to testify on it. And so the people who are testifying on the bill, their backs are to you. And you have the legislature, the committee, you know, in the round, in their half circle, committee sitting at their desk. So this 11-year-old, looked like a girl, long blonde hair, in a jumper, began to testify. And as this young person began to testify, you realize this wasn't a girl. This was a boy pretending to be a girl because he was told he could be a girl, born in the wrong body, giving the usual type of testimony for that. And when, you know, a straight A student, 4.0 average, what an exemplary student this poor, confused 11-year-old is. And when he was done testifying, they applauded him. And then the legislature, particularly the Democrats, how proud we are of you. You have so much courage. Congratulations on your decision. So reinforcing this gender identity confusion, which is a mental illness, it is a disorder, even though the politically operatives inside the American Psychiatric Association have now changed it to be a dysphoria, it's still a dis. You know, it's still wrong, it's still abnormal, it's still not right. And as they were going around the room congratulating him, doing this, it was just really sad.
Was the state assembly or state senate?
This particular instance happened in the state assembly, not in the Senate. It passed in the Senate back in June. This was recent, as of December the 6th. This just last December 6th.
So was Reynolds Jackson's? She was there too, right? Was she there?
Yes, I believe she sits on the committee, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, and I'll tell you. Because that's Assembly Education. No, she doesn't sit on the committee, but it's not unusual for them to sit there and be a part of the committee, but she wasn't there. Pamela Lampett is the chair of that committee. She's a very pro-LGBT activist. Her education is that she's a teacher in restaurant science. You know, that's her background. Then you had Andrew Zwicker, whose religion is science. He's an atheist. He promotes science. You know, he has they actually made a committee for him to chair because he's a PhD, a physicist. That's great. I got up to testify, and I testified, this is an unfunded mandate. There's no money behind putting this curriculum out there. We are talking about changing the books, changing all the curriculum. This goes, it's all grades, all subject matter is to put this and inculcate this nonsense into there. So, I mean, are we going to have the gay rapist as the people who've contributed to society? It's a negative contribution, but maybe we should have those in there. When I testified on the bill, I said, well, what about Anthony Perkins? You know, the guy that played in Psycho? He and Tab Hunter were boyfriends back in the 50s and 60s. Anthony Perkins, left the homosexual lifestyle, became an ex-gay like myself, married a woman, fathered 2 sons before he died of AIDS, the end result of the lifestyle that he lived. He did not pass AIDS on to his wife or on to his sons. I said, are you going to include him? What about the contribution of ex-gays, such as Anthony Perkins and others? Because I was there to testify on it with an organization called Ex-Gay is Okay. So testifying upon this, I said, you need to be inclusive. Ex-gays are recognized as a minority in the District of Columbia, by the way. Mm-hmm. So, and I also suggested that if they didn't, there might be a lawsuit because they're violating the civil rights of others since they're, you know, excluding one group as opposed to another. But the real problem with that is, and the reason why I mentioned Mr. Zwicker, the PhD, and I'm looking at him when I said that, I said, the real science is this. And I'm sitting here and he's to my left and I'm staring him in the face as I'm doing this. Said there are no replicated scientific studies supporting any specific biologic etiology for homosexuality, end quote. That's the American Psychiatric Association. That's the real science. So we are promoting a lifestyle choice. This is state-sponsored child abuse.
Yeah. So one of the questions I know, what people would love to know, where were the parents of the 11-year-old boy who says she wants to be a girl? And you know, and it disturbs me because I did a show with Michael Rectenwald, professor at NYU, leftist that turned basically conservative. He got out and left the community. And he said that there are books, there are TV shows, there are movies, there are a lot of literature out there saying it's okay for young boys and 9, 10 years old to dress up like girls and think they're like girls, and then it's okay and then the parents to agree with that. And you know, and it's, you know, how you can be whatever you want to be. It's okay. And saying like the moon is still the moon. So I want to call the moon the sun. And I want to call the sun the moon. But the moon is still a moon. The sun is still a sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. The mother was there in the room. She did not testify. She did not stand up and identify herself. So I don't know who she was in the room. But I will say this in the defense of some parents, because I have parents that come up to me knowing my background, asking me all kinds of questions, parents that don't accept the decisions that their children are making. They are badgered, imposed with enormous amount of guilt, that you hate your child if you don't accept the decision and the confusion that they have, that this is normal. They were in the wrong body and you have to accept this. Instead of actually dealing with the dysphoria, finding out the reasons for it, and there are some legitimate reasons for it. In our porn-addicted, hypersexualized society, a lot of this, the reason why we see so much of it, and we see so much sexual promiscuity, the fluidity of sexuality, is because of of the porn addictions, the saturation of pornography into our society, which is one of the reasons we have a bill, the Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Prevention Act, which has more than enough sponsors to pass, but again, the pornography lobby is well financed, and they're also lining the pockets of the legislators here in New Jersey. They do take bribes, in case you didn't know that. You know,
yeah.
they will vote based on who lines their pockets instead of what's right and what's wrong. But I wanted to say, the psychologists, doctors, neighborhoods. I know of one instance where there is a mother. She's divorced. She has a son. She's also a psychologist, and she is pushing her kid to be gay because it's pushing it because it's fashionable. oh, I have a gay son. Look how wonderful I am. I've accepted him. He's only 8 years old, but yeah, you can train a child up in the way that you want them to go.
Yeah. So can I ask you a question? What is the ramifications of this? People are saying, well, in elementary schools, junior high school, and high school, if a kid who's never known about the LGBT community, lesbian, gay, transgender, opens a door, the child to say, what is this transgender life? What is this LGBT, introducing, say, maybe I, as a child, may want to say, well, I want to check this out. Maybe this is something interesting. I may want to be a transgender or gay or lesbian.
It's one way to get attention too, because every kid starved for attention in some way or some other way, depending what the home what the home is like. But this is also a way to. This is extremely dangerous for one, because you're messing with the psychology and the development of a child. You are biologically who you are. Even those who have the full sexual reassignment surgeries, that does not change your chromosomal makeup. You are either XX or XY, and nothing you can do can change you who you are. You can change your appearance. You can mutilate your body. You can abuse it with drugs and steroids and the hormones, but you are still man or woman. In Europe,
was the child taking the steroids or?
Don't know.
Don't know. We don't know.
11-year-old, you really don't know. But you do know there are reports that children, very young children, are actually going through the surgery. So that means they do have to take the medication. This is child abuse on a level that we have never seen before. Other than this is raping the child of their own personality. This is raping the child of their development. This is raping their child of their future. This is dangerous on every level. And these adults in the legislature who think that this is okay, this is beyond okay. Mm-hmm. It's incomprehensible that we have come to this place where we can deny reality. And as you were saying, let's call the moon the sun. Let's call a cow a cat. Yeah. It's absolutely insane, but this is what we're doing. Yeah. It's illogical. It's unsensible. It's collective madness, but this is state-sponsored child abuse.
So 15, 20 years from now, what do you see what do you see the ramifications 20 years from now? What do you think the school system will be like? Individuals who are going to school, who are taking this course, and is this course mandatory that every student can a student opt out of taking this course?
No, because it's not a course. This is the infusion of homosexuality into every single facet and line of education.
So they can
whether it's sociology, psychology, mathematics, it doesn't matter. This is supposed to be portrayed. So in other words, if you've got a identified lesbian or gay or bisexual, transgender person who is a historian, then you need to be identifying that historian and using their comments and material in your class. A mathematician the same way, a physicist the same way. This is what's happening. So this bill was not designed as a course that you had to take. No, this is inculcated, wired into the curriculum of every piece of curriculum in the school. The religion of sodomy, the religion, inculcating this religion, because it's a faith-based assumption. No one is born gay, so all of this is based on faith. It's based on a faith-based assumption. That's the foundations of the LGBT ideology, the homosexuality. It is a faith-based assumption.
Yeah. So what can be done? What can parents do? What could community people do?
Go to your school board and demand that the school board not follow this law. Here's why this law can be challenged. One, it's an unfunded mandate. The state is broke. They keep spending money, but they also keep raising taxes. Since Phil Murphy, who signed the bill into law, he's so hip. He signs the bill into law. He has almost raised our taxes in just a little over a year by $2 billion, almost $2 billion. I mean, we need a law that bans Goldman Sachs employees, past and present, from running for office, okay? I mean, we had John Corzine, now we got Phil Murphy, and they're all connected to Goldman Sachs. So just an idea. This being said, you know, now that they're pushing this religion, parents can go to the school board and say, I don't want this, and I want a method in which, when this is taught in my school, my student does not have to listen to this. Mm-hmm. Also, because it's an unfunded mandate too, then school boards can say, no, we're not going to do this until you fund it. In the meantime, maybe we can find some ways to challenge this law in court. Even though it's a state law, it does violate the First Amendment, so we might be able to carry this through to the federal courts and possibly even to the U.S. Supreme Court, now that we've got a president that actually picks judges who have read the Constitution and know what it says.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and it is so sad that, you know, a lot of people, especially in the inner city, African Americans and Democrats, they voted for Phil Murphy in the city. Voted for Phil Murphy, thought that, you know, Phil Murphy, he was a businessman with Goldman Sachs. You know, and a lot of people are questioning the whole Phil Murphy, how did he get in? You know, what party bosses did he have to pay to get in? And as you know, there's a march against Murphy coming up in March. And
good.
And then
I may have to go wear my suit, wear my shoes, and go out there and do that. I'm with that one. I'm with that one. There's a recall petition going out there too, you know, also on Phil Murphy. Phil Murphy's an ideologue. He's not a businessman.
Yeah. He's
an ideologue. All right. He was a funder for Obama. He's so filthy rich. He's so disconnected from any reality he may have had growing up, real or not real. He is so disconnected from the common man, from the rank and file here in New Jersey. The citizens, you know, the only people that are able to leave this state are the ones that either don't own property and get a job somewhere else, or they're so rich it doesn't matter if they take a loss on their home, they can get out. Because it's, you know, we have more people leaving the state than we do moving in. And we've been #1 now for 10 years in a row. 10 years in a row, people leave. It's all because of the property taxes, right?
You know, one of the things, you know, I was telling people about this, and I was on the phone. I said that you all really need to organize and march and protest against this. I said this yesterday on Facebook Live. I said, you know, this is a threat to Christianity, a serious threat to Christianity. You know, if you're a biblical Christian and a Torah Jew, this is a threat to you. Yeah. You will be marginalized, penalized for practicing your faith. That's part of what this is. The LGBT movement is anti-Christian. Now, they are remolding certain, you know, the mainline denominations that are falling like weeds because they're dying on the vine. You know, their churches are empty. But they're remolding and reshaping them and changing their doctrine, changing their literature, even changing the scripture itself to be what they want it to be. So, you know, instead of accepting Jesus Christ and God for what he said he is, let's make him in our image instead of us complying to be in his image. Mm-hmm. For those who are watching, this is Mr. Greg Quinlan from the Center for Garden State Families here in New Jersey. We're talking about the bill that's passed with Phil Murphy, the LGBT is now be able to taught in public school system. So please give us a text, send us make a comment. What do you think? There's been people making a lot of comments. Ms. Nancy Henry, Money Talks, Bullshit Walks in New Jersey. All you need is money. And one of the things is that, you know, Phil Murphy, you know, do you remember John Corzine? John Corzine bought the party bosses. And this guy bought the party boss. For example, we know that in the Democrat Party, George Norcross down in South Jersey, who owns the Philadelphia Inquirer and a couple of other things, he's got a lot of money. He's worth I think it is almost $600 million, somewhere along that line, between $550 to $600 million. You know, that's I'd love to have that problem. So in other words, the billionaire, you know, Phil Murphy could finance his own campaign, which is exactly what he did. So, in other words, Steve Sweeney, the Senate president, wanted to run as the Democrat
he was told, he backed out of it because he was told by the party boss not to do it because we don't have to spend any money here. This guy can finance his own campaign. And look what we got. Now we've got Steve Sweeney and Phil Murphy going like this with each other, which is an advantage to all of us, the pro-family, faith-based community. Now's our time to be heard. Now's our time to act. And now's our time to find a candidate to run in 2021 for governor. The other thing that we need to do is this year, 2019, the lower house, all of them are up for all 80 of them are up for re-election. And I'm just going to bluntly say it. This is Greg Quinlan speaking for Greg Quinlan. I also chair a political action committee. So this is Greg Quinlan speaking for Greg Quinlan. But you are not going to get anywhere with Democrats protecting your faith, protecting your pocketbook, protecting your family, and protecting your property rights. It will not happen with a Democrat.
Oh yeah, you know, and one of the things that we're marching against Phil Murphy is the Second Amendment rights issue,
right?
Issues on property taxes, you know, and this is just fuel to the fire right here. And what I am telling people to, especially Christians, that we, you know, Martin Luther King gave us a map how to march and how to protest. How to
yes, organize. He did.
And, you know, if we have to, I tell them, if you have to shut down highways, we have to shut down bridges, go to the state house, shut down the state house, you know, go to jail for what you believe in. As Christians, God is with us. What did Martin Luther King says? He said, true forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne, yet that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown stands God within the shadows, keeping watch of his own. And we have to understand that God is with us. God never leave. We leave God. God is never will always be with us. He will protect us as long as we do the right thing. And that's I want to motivate Christians and send this out.
Right.
You know, send this out. Share this with all your family and friends and whoever. Share it out. Share this show because it's important that we know what will happen next. If Phil Murphy signs this bill, what's next? He
signed it. He did. It's law.
Yeah. Well,
it goes into effect the next school cycle. It goes into effect the next school cycle. The other thing too, when you were talking about the other issues, you know, we've got a physician-assisted suicide bill. The aid in dying bill is going to be heard this Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 6th of February.
Yeah.
And this bill is so bad. Let me tell you how bad it is. The insurance company, your health insurance, your life insurance company can be a witness to you signing that you want to take those 100 barbiturates to kill yourself.
Wow.
Talking about a conflict of interest. You don't think that the insurance company has an invested interest in whether you live or die, especially if it's your health insurance company.
Wow, thanks for sharing that with us. And you know, I'm gonna call some preachers up. You know, especially it's a couple churches in Trenton that Phil Murphy went to, and you know the church is like, okay, do you really know? You know, what did you do? And are you going to speak out against this? And you know, there's some preachers that watched me last night, and I said, you know, some was in Camden and some of in Trenton. You know, we said this message like, you know, you really need to be afraid, and you need to be this is a serious wake up call.
This has got, you got to be more than a Democrat. Are you more of a follower of Jesus Christ than you are a Democrat? Are you more of a Christian than you are a Republican? This isn't about your party. This is about really your fundamental First Amendment right. Yes. Remember the First Amendment. I was in Newark at Rutgers University debating the marriage issue. There was one of those really balanced panels. 3 of us and 7 of them, and the moderator, of course, was pro-gay too.
Yeah.
So, but we were there, and at the end there was somebody who was asking these questions, and it was all and focusing on me. It's all because of religion with you, right? It's all because of religion. I said, excuse me, have you ever read the First Amendment? Yes. Can you quote it to me? Quiet. Silence. I said, okay. What's the first freedom in the First Amendment? Can you tell me that? She said, yes, freedom of speech. I said, wrong. The first freedom in the First Amendment, and 1/3 of the First Amendment deals with this one freedom of religion.
Yep. So
not from it, but of it.
Freedom of religion. You're definitely right about that. Casio, before we go, I want to ask you one question. Look at the media. the media didn't talk about this. And one of the things that we talk about, me and John Robert Carmen of the New Jersey State
Right.
Constitutional Republicans, is about the cultural Marxism and how the media is controlling certain things that they're putting out. And the media, you have, gay media individuals, gay and lesbian media people in
you got Shepard Smith on Fox, you got Rachel Maddow on MSNBC,
yeah,
and you got them right here in our own local stuff in the press, yes.
Yeah, and they are controlling certain things without putting certain things out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they're doing. Folks, you've got to get your news from other places. You've got to be a part of like this show that you put on Facebook. It's a service to the entire state, a service to the community, and other organizations too. A salacious plug, www.gardenstatefamilies.org. Sign up, get our email alerts, contribute to it. It's, not this, it takes money to do what we do. Yes. It just does, it's
you're right. You're definitely right.
We got to pay salaries. We got to do this, but but the salaries are to track what's going on down in Trenton. We're your voice down in Trenton. We are. There's Right to Life, and that's about it as far as the pro-family movement goes. That's about it.
And you see what's happening in New York State. Not at 9 months. It's like we're giving it in a country that's going haywire. We think we're going right.
Infanticide.
Yeah, I mean, at 9 months you can have an abortion. That's the killing of a child. It's,
right.
And it's
right.
sad.
And then you heard the description by the governor of Virginia.
Yeah.
I'll tell you exactly how it happens. Look, I'm a retired nurse. We took an oath, and our oath is to preserve life, not take it.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays we're going down the path of Adolf Hitler. Or Professor Singer, Peter Singer at Princeton, who says, useless eaters. People don't know this, but Peter Singer, the ethics professor at Princeton University, is banned from Germany because he idealizes Adolf Hitler. We've got legislators now. You might as well be a devotee to Adolf Hitler. Your votes, the legislation you introduce and promote, the policies you introduce and promote are in lockstep with Marxist, socialist fascism. That's not hyper-conservative, right-wing rhetoric. That's an observation that is factual, and all you have to do is look at their own actions.
Yeah.
And you're so right, Daryl. We look at what's going on around us. Only 2 states in the country have this kind of legislation to inculcate our kids on the LGBT movement and their supposed contributions, Rosie O'Donnell and Ellen DeGeneres. So what in the world are we doing now? That New Jersey, we had to copy this. We were the 2nd state in the country to ban therapy for unwanted same-sex attractions on minors. When you have a 10 or 12-year-old, I'm attracted to these guys or I'm attracted to these girls. I don't want to do this. It doesn't feel right. It's not what I want for my future. And I want help to understand why I have these feelings. But you're denied that talk therapy.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's sad, and we have to do something about it. Start protesting, organizing. Practicing civil disobedience, direct action. That's what Dr. King taught. Dr. King probably is turning in his grave right now. It's
right.
Some of the things that
we need
happen.
to attend. When you need to attend these committees. These guys meet on Mondays and Thursdays. Yes, it's during the daytime, but on some of these committee meetings, you need to hear up. You need to make phone calls to your legislators, and you need to get out there and vote. And some of you can run for office.
Yes, definitely.
Some of you need to do that.
Definitely,
You've done that, right, Daryl? I think you did that.
What's happened now? I might just have to, but it's sad, and the people. This is a wake-up call to every Christian, every Christian Jew, and who cares about God and faith in New Jersey. It's a wake-up.
If you support the First Amendment, you need to stand up. You need to stand.
Yes.
Well, look at what's going on even in Congress. But it's all about this book, folks. It's all about this book.
Yes,
you need to do. If you believe in this, then you need to be out there to protect your rights. The rights. This country was founded on the right to practice this, to believe this, and to order my life accordingly, which means my laws are ordered by it too. We're losing our freedoms because this is being taken away from us.
Yes, it is.
You're being mocked and you're made fun of. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about when they do that to you. Just do what I do. Just yell hate crime, and that shuts them up real fast.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for coming on. This is Mr. Greg Quinlan, the Center for Garden State Families. We're talking about the LGBT bill that was passed and signed by our New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy. Give us your website.
It's gardenstatefamilies.org. That's gardenstatefamilies, plural.org.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you. You're welcome to come on anytime, and we're definitely going to have some more of these discussions. It's been exciting. I thank you for coming on, and God bless. Sure. And we'll keep up the good fight. We'll be fighting, and we'll be organizing. I guarantee you.
Yeah, we got to be organizing. Thank you, Daryl, for all you do. God bless you.
Peace.
Peace.
Hi, this is Daryl McKell Brooks of the On Fire Show. I thank you all for watching. I also want to say, can you also support the On Fire Show and what we're trying to do? We're building a studio. I think this is one of it's so important that we promote the On Fire Show and the issues that were conservative issues, the independent issues. We have conservative, independent thinkers that come on the show. So I just want, whether you're black or white, Chinese, you're conservative, you're independent, you're about challenging the system and making the system better. Hey, this is the On Fire Show, and we're looking for support. You can give $2 to $5 to $10 or more, whatever you can. We're trying to build a studio. It's costing us probably going to cost us about a couple $1,000, and we need more lighting. We need more banners, and we need more video cameras. We're getting a video camera and keyboard. So we're trying to have a full-fledged studio, On Fire Show studio, and so we can also have more shows like this. I am your host, Daryl McKell Brooks. I thank you all for watching. Please share this message, share the show. It's about time that we stand up. People, you have to organize. You have to challenge this system. This system with Phil Murphy is corrupt. And so you have to organize, you have to protest, you have to write letters, you have to come to the hearings, send out information, go to jail for what you believe in, protest, organize, shut down bridges, highways, buildings, state buildings, go to Phil Murphy office and just sit there and also pray. We need that because God is on our side and God is with us. God will never leave us. God will support us as long as we try to do the right thing. All right, people. And this is your host, Daryl McKell Brooks. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you. I am about to go watch the Super Bowl. Go Super Bowl winners. I'm not going to see who I'm supporting, but go ahead, Super Bowl winners. Thank you. God bless, and have a great day. And that's the way it is. Peace.